Hi everybody, today's lesson is finding equivalent fractions using multiples and common factors. So our learning goal today is that we are learning to use multiplication and division to find equivalent fractions. Now, yesterday we learned all about equivalent fractions and we can make some good models for equivalent fractions, but we don't want to have to create a model every single time we're looking for an equivalent fraction. So today is the shortcut day. I'm going to do this in two parts. We're going to start by finding equivalent fractions with multiples. And yesterday we found equivalent fractions for 2/3, so that's where we're going to start today. So I've already got a math space started, just so it didn't take quite so long for you. And my math space shows the equivalent fractions that we found yesterday for 2/3. So we have come up with equivalent fractions 2/3 equaling 4/6, and saying that that is also equal to 6/9. Whoa, there we go. Let's just leave one more equal sign and hit insert math here. So yesterday we proved these to be true, and you can see in our model here that it is true. The same amount of the whole rectangle is colored pink in all three models. So in the one that shows 2/3, 4/6, and 6/9. So we're going to take the shortcut here now, and we're going to say, how could you continue to find more equivalent fractions by using multiplication? So I'm going to grab my handy little freehand drawing tool down here to walk you through this. What we should be able to see is that we have just been using our multiples each time we're finding a new equivalent fraction. So when we went from 2 to 4, we just multiplied by 2. When we went from 2 to 6, we multiplied by 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. And the same steps we had to do underneath. So when we multiplied, or when we went from the denominator from 3 to 6, we multiplied by 2. And when our denominator went from 3 to 9, we multiplied by 3. So if we wanted to continue finding more equivalent fractions for 2/3, we could just continue to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number again. So let's predict then, what is our next equivalent fraction going to be? Well, to find that, we are just going to multiply this time by 4. So let's multiply the numerator 2 by 4, and we have to do the same thing to the denominator. So we'll also multiply the denominator 3 times 4. And let's see what we end up with here. So 2 times 4 will give us 8, and 3 times 4 will give us 12. So we have just found our next equivalent fraction to 2/3, which will be 8/12. Now I did leave down here our last rectangle just to check our answer. So let's take our last rectangle here and make that one have the 12 segments that we just decided it should have. And let's color in or shade in 8 of those 12 segments. And look, you can see in our model that we have found the next equivalent fraction to 2/3. We will insert this back into our document, back into our Google slide, as proof of how to find equivalent fractions using multiples. Now I'm going to have you do the same thing on the next page for the fraction 3/4. So let's try multiplying by 2, 3, and 4, and then go in and create your model to prove that this is true. I'll be back with part 2 in a couple of minutes. Good luck finishing this one.